This was me in 2009. Overweight, a multiple-time college dropout, no goals, no girl, no job, and worst of all, no motivation. I spent my days chilling and indulging, not realising just how bad things had gotten. I always told myself things would work out, but even I had started to doubt it. I want to share how I turned things around, not because I've made it, I haven't, but I know what it's like to feel completely stuck, and how even a small shift in focus can be the start of a real change. Hey, Mike from Cappiche Games here. Today's video is a bit different, something a little bit more personal. I've had this idea on my list for a while, but I wasn't really sure how to approach it. It's close to the line of oversharing, but I want people who follow this journey to know a little bit more about me. If this isn't your kind of video, no worries. I'll be back with the usual game dev content next time, but maybe you'll find something here that resonates. Growing up, I had a fortunate start in life. We weren't wealthy, but I had loving parents and every young boy's dream, a little brother to hang out with. I loved my childhood. I was always told how clever I was the fastest runner, one of the best footballers. For my American viewers, that's football, you know, the one where you actually use your feet. I had great friends. I didn't struggle with much at all. I was always encouraged, never wanted for anything, and life was simple. Eat, sleep, school, football, repeat. Then, out of nowhere, everything changed. My parents sat us down and told us they were separating. I know loads of people go through this and deal with it properly, but I can't overstate how much it affected me. It was my first experience of real heartbreak and despair, and it marked the start of a downward spiral that lasted well into my early 20s. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't accept it. Our parents never argued in front of us, so it had never even crossed my mind that they were unhappy, let alone getting divorced. The news rocked me to my core. I remember storming out of the house and walking the streets for hours, just crying my eyes out. I just didn't understand. After that day, things were never the same. I withdrew, I became quieter, made myself an easy target for bullying. Not physical, thankfully, but relentless all the same. It wore me down, and by 16 I had switched schools and dropped out with the bare minimum of grades. What followed was 5 years of self-destruction. I jumped from one dead-end job to another, never lasting long, never finding purpose. Nights were spent eating, drinking, and gaming until morning, then sleeping the day away. I enrolled in college multiple times, hoping something would click, but I either dropped out within weeks or skipped the orientation entirely. I knew I was letting people down, especially my parents, but I shut them out completely out of shame. The one constant though was my brother. He's younger than me, but he always led by example. Deep down I still held on to that belief that things would turn out okay, but I wasn't doing anything to make that happen. In fact, I was speedrunning my way to the bottom. The catalyst of change came when I found a tech support job that I actually enjoyed. It wasn't just the work, it reminded me of who I was and what I could accomplish when I was in the right environment. That realisation gave me the confidence to pursue university again, which became a turning point in my life. Around the same time, I also decided to focus on my health, marking the start of my weight loss journey. But the changes didn't stop there. I began forming real friendships with a group of amazing people who are still by my side today. Those connections, alongside my career and personal growth, gave me the support I needed to keep pushing forward. It was during that time that I also met my girlfriend, who I've now been with for nearly 8 years. That one positive decision to change my environment didn't just lead to professional growth, it opened the door to personal connections and a healthier, happier life. Looking back, it's crazy to think that a single choice set everything in motion, leading to all the good things that continue to shape my life today. The first 2 years of uni were a bit of a blur. I didn't take it as seriously as I should have, coasting through without really pushing myself. It felt like I was going through the motions, not fully understanding the weight of the opportunity I had in front of me. But as I entered my third year, something clicked. I realised that despite my slow start, I could still aim for a first-class honours degree if I dedicated myself fully. That was another huge turning point for me. I decided to give it my all, and for the next 2 years, I made it my mission to achieve nothing less than A's in every subject. That shift in mindset made all the difference. I put in the work, stayed focused, and ended up graduating with a first-class honours degree in computer science, something I never could have imagined when I first started uni. What kept me going during this time wasn't just my own drive, but the incredible support I received from my girlfriend. While I stayed up late, learning to code, finishing assignments and grinding through the work, she was right there, cooking, taking care of the flat, and keeping everything in order. And she did all of that while also studying herself. Her support allowed me to keep pushing forward, and I honestly couldn't have done it without her. So now I had a degree, was a lot healthier, had great relationships, and had just landed a software developer internship at a reputable company in my city. The high was unreal. Even saying the words out loud, I'm going to be a software developer, didn't feel real. I couldn't believe how well things were going. I was so excited to start the next chapter and carry all of that momentum with me. But that's when I was struck with a cold hard dose of reality. I went from being at the top of my class to being at the bottom again, surrounded by people who made the work that I really struggled with look like a breeze. It felt like they just got it so much more than me, and this had me questioning everything and honestly sent me into a bit of a crisis. I fell into the trap of thinking that what you do for work needs to be something that you absolutely love, like the whole find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life mantra. I started to believe that was the most important thing and that maybe I should have pursued something with true meaning to me. Growing up, I'd wanted to be a vet, or at least something related to animals, which has always been my true passion. I saw videos of Forrest Galante and all the conservation work he does and thought, that's my calling. I began to wonder if I'd ever find that kind of joy in the tech world. I remember sitting there many nights, crying out of frustration, completely lost in trying to figure out how to be good at my job. Nothing made sense, and I felt completely overwhelmed. But I stuck it out, adapted, kept learning, and slowly got more comfortable. With time, things did start to click, and I found myself in a much more confident and capable place. Looking back, I now know that these thoughts were just part of the process of starting out in a challenging career. It was less about a crisis of purpose and more about confronting the reality of the work and learning to push through. My message to you is this: if you're truly unhappy, don't force it, but don't walk away too soon either. Sometimes sticking it out when things get tough and giving things a fair shot can lead to brighter days on the other side. Fast forward to today, and things have changed in ways I never imagined. I'm in a job that gives me freedom, financial stability, and the time to pursue my passions, like game development and content creation, something I once thought was out of reach. I'm doing work that not only supports me, but also allows me to grow and thrive in ways that I never thought possible, without sucking the soul out of me and leaving me on a Netflix binge just to wind down. But I didn't always feel this way. It took me until I was about 32 to truly feel comfortable with who I am and where I was in life. I used to think I had to have everything figured out by some arbitrary age, that by a certain point I should be meeting the potential I was always told I had growing up. But now, I know that's not the case. I've realised that it's never too late to turn things around, and that even a tiny step in the right direction can have a massive ripple effect. Momentum really is everything. There's a certain kind of peace that comes with embracing your journey, with understanding that growth doesn't happen on a fixed timeline. For so long I felt behind, like I'd missed my chance. But now, I see that life unfolds when it's supposed to, and sometimes the biggest changes happen later in life, after you've had time to learn from your mistakes and find your footing. My dad always says, you'll find your level, and I don't think I fully understood what he meant until it actually happened. So even though it might have taken me longer than I initially hoped, I've found my rhythm. The most important lesson I've learned is that no matter where you are in life, it's never too late to start over or change course. Every step, no matter how long it took to get there, has led me to this point, and now I'm embracing the balance I've fought so hard for. There have been some hard times, but I wouldn't change any of it. Every step on your own journey is a building block that shapes who you are, and I can honestly say that I'm truly happy with how things have turned out. And on that note, one of the biggest wins I've recently had was releasing my very first game, Turtle Run. If you enjoy challenging platformers with mini games and boss encounters, all wrapped up in a derpy pixel art style, you might like it. You can grab the game or add it to your wish list using the Steam and itch links in the description. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you have even half as much fun playing it as I did making it. And this is just the beginning for Cappiche Games, so keep an eye out for where the journey takes us next. Life isn't about one big moment that suddenly makes everything click. It's a series of small wins, lessons, and setbacks that all build upon each other. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that progress doesn't always feel like progress when you're in it. This isn't me saying, look at me, I've done it. I haven't made it. I'm still figuring things out. I'm still living month to month like most people. But if you are struggling right now, I just want to say that it's not over. Things can change, and they will, even if it doesn't feel like it at the moment. You don't have to have it all figured out, and it's okay if the path isn't clear right now. Everyone has their own timeline, and that's something I've learned to embrace. Progress isn't linear, and sometimes you won't realise how far you've come until you look back. The key is to keep moving, even when motivation isn't there. You don't need to wait for everything to fall into place before you start moving. You just need to start, even if it's with one small action. That's how change happens. But what is making it anyway? I always thought it was about some high up position, a fancy title, or hitting some arbitrary salary figure. But maybe making it is actually just about finding peace within yourself and being truly satisfied with who you are, regardless of where you are in life. That doesn't mean you stop pushing for more or you settle where you are, but it's about recognizing the wins along the way. Reflecting on how far you've come can help when you're feeling lost or lacking motivation. If you are in a tough spot right now, remember, it's not the end. The journey is long, and sometimes it's the hardest moments that lead us to the most meaningful growth. Keep pushing, keep moving, and don't be afraid to take that first step. I hope this video manages to give something to someone. Sometimes all it takes is hearing the right words at the right time to make things click. And if this does that for even one person, then it's a win in my book. Thank you so much for watching. If you feel inclined to, join the Discord in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.